Gladiator is a 2000 American-British epic historical drama film directed by Ridley Scott, starring Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, Connie Nielsen, Ralph Fiennes, Oliver Reed, Jim Hounsou, Derek Jacobi, John Shrapnel, and Richard Harris. Shakespeare in Love is a 1998 British-American romantic comedy drama film directed by John Madden, written by Mark Norman and playwright Tom Stoppard. The film depicts an imaginary love affair involving Viola de Lesseps and playwright William Shakespeare while he was writing Romeo and Juliet. The Shawshank Redemption is a 1994 American drama film written and directed by Frank Darabont and starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Adapted from the Stephen King novella Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, the film tells the story of Andy Dufresne, a banker who is sentenced to life in Shawshank State Prison for the murder of his wife and her lover despite his claims of innocence. Schindler's List is a 1993 American epic historical period drama, directed and co-produced by Steven Spielberg and scripted by Steven Zaillian. It is based on the novel Schindler's Ark by Thomas Keneally, an Australian novelist. Dead Poets Society is a 1989 American drama film written by Tom Schulman, directed by Peter Weir and starring Robin Williams. Set at the conservative and aristocratic Welton Academy in the Northeast United States in 1959, it tells the story of an English teacher who inspires his students through his teaching of poetry. Field of Dreams is a 1989 American fantasy drama film directed by Phil Alden Robinson, who also wrote the screenplay, adapting W. P. Kinsella's novel Shoeless Joe. It stars Kevin Costner, Amy Madigan, James Earl Jones, Ray Liotta and Burt Lancaster in his final role. Working Girl is a 1988 romantic comedy drama film written by Kevin Wade and directed by Mike Nichols. It tells the story of a Staten Island-raised secretary, Tess McGill, working in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department of a Wall Street investment bank. Hoosiers is a 1986 sports film written by Angelo Pizzo and directed by David Inspaw. It tells the story of a small-town Indiana high school basketball team that wins the state championship. It is loosely based on the Milan High School team that won the 1954 state championship. The Right Stuff is a 1983 American drama film that was adapted from Tom Wolfe's best-selling 1979 book of the same name about the Navy, Marine and Air Force test pilots who were involved in aeronautical research at Edwards Air Force Base, California, as well as the 7 military pilots who were selected to be the astronauts for Project Mercury, the first attempt at manned spaceflight by the United States. Chariots of Fire is a 1981 British historical drama film. It tells the fact-based story of 2 athletes in the 1924 Olympics, Eric Liddell, a devout Scottish Christian who runs for the glory of God, and Harold Abrahams, an English Jew who runs to overcome prejudice. The Day of the Dolphin is a 1973 American science fiction thriller film directed by Mike Nichols and starring George C. Scott. Loosely based on the 1967 novel, Un Animal de Raison, by French writer Robert Merle, the screenplay was written by Buck Henry. The Sting is a 1973 American caper film set in September 1936, involving a complicated plot by 2 professional grifters to con a mob boss. The film was directed by George Roy Hill, who had directed Newman and Redford in the western Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's a Wonderful Life is a 1946 American Christmas fantasy comedy drama film produced and directed by Frank Capra, based on the short story The Greatest Gift, which Philip Van Dorenstern wrote in 1939 and published privately in 1945. Casablanca is a 1942 American romantic drama film directed by Michael Curtiz and based on Murray Burnett and Joan Allison's unproduced stage play Everybody Comes to Rick's. The film stars Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, and Paul Henreid. It features Claude Rains, Conrad Veidt, Sidney Greenstreet, Peter Lorre, and Julie Wilson.